Hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. So there's a follow-up that I'm going to be doing right now to the Candlekeep Mysteries Fallout, and I addressed this on the blog side yesterday, and I want to, I guess, carry that over to here and go a little bit further. And it's like bonus content because tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, Glenn Hallstrom and myself will be live streaming Dungeons, Dragons, and Discourse. Where we talk about D&D and related games and stuff, and love to have you all join us. But in any case, this is what my thoughts were, and it comes down to, um, and I say freelancers, but it goes beyond freelancing. But freelancers are interchangeable widgets or cogs. You aren't something special. Well, you aren't something until you're something. All right, you aren't special until you're special. Freelancers are hired for a specific reason to provide content at a price that is profitable for the publisher and that hopefully requires the smallest amount of editing and or rewriting. You may think what you've written is the closest thing to perfection that you've ever done in your life, but the reality is many, if not most, writers feel that way about their work. What you actually are as a freelancer is a content provider. You aren't writing lore. You aren't presenting something magical. And maybe you are, but that likely isn't what your publisher is paying you for. And it's likely, and especially in the case of Candlekeep Mysteries, that such material will fall to the might of the red pen. Your submission will hopefully make enough money for the publisher to make a profit after editing, layout, art, advertising, and anything else that crops up. If it doesn't, the publisher won't be publishing for very long. Your feelings are irrelevant. And now, you know what? That's not just freelancing. That's every occupation I've had. Your feelings are irrelevant to the grand scheme of things. So, you get moved out of a position because they feel somebody else can do it better. They don't care how you feel. You get moved out of a position because your clock is ticking and you're going to be retiring in a year. And you want to train somebody to take your place because you know what? They want to replace that cog early when it's not an emergency to replace it. Again, your feelings are irrelevant. It's a business. The only thing that they're worried about in the end is one thing, and it's the color green. They don't want to be in the red. They want to be in the profit. They want to make money. As a freelancer, you are a work for hire. You are not staff. Okay? Staff might get some extra privileges. Staff might be treated maybe with a little bit more familiarity, but you're not staff. You are working for spec. There are many freelancers. What was it? Full Metal Jacket. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. You know what? There are many freelancers, and if you want to come out on the top of that freelancer dog pile, you got to be special. There are freelancers out there that are special, but you know what? Everyone that I can think of made their name, made their impressions by doing their own work initially. Okay, and there's a reason why that, and I'm going to get to that. Very few freelancers rise to the level that they are sought after by publishers and are followed by fans. The vast majority are interchangeable widgets or cogs in the wheel. They have a job to do. Many others waiting in the wings to do it instead if they fail. It can be a nasty business. That goes for any job, but freelancing even more so because there are so many other fuckers looking to do the same thing that you want to do. Okay, there's only so much freelance work, and it's everybody out there that wants to be published. Okay, it's not just I have my fantasy heartbreaker It's I want to be published by Wizards of the Coast. I want to be published by Paizo. I want to have my latest adventure get picked up by Frog Eye Games or Goodman Games or Trollord Games. And notice we've gone down about a little bit of the prestige. These are still big companies, but again, RPG publishing is still a small pond. It sucks. It does. Freelancing sucks. Work sucks. Here's the deal. The reality is, many gamers would probably give their left testicle just to get published by somebody like Wizards of the Coast. POC Gamer was published by Wizards of the Coast. They took his work, and in his feelings, his opinion, they destroyed it to make it something that they wanted to publish, but not what he submitted. And guess what? I guess POC Gamer was not interested in staying in that level of publishing as a freelancer. He burned every bridge he possibly could. That's his business. But if you want to be published in this industry, you don't burn bridges. Now, let's go beyond that. Say you want to get your work out there and you don't want to freelance. Self-publishing is an option. It's got hurdles, it's got difficulties, and it requires a lot of hard work. And you are the one that will probably wind up doing pretty much everything. You're going to write it, you're going to lay it out, you're going to assemble art, and maybe nobody will bother reading it because it's not out by Wizards of the Coast. It's going to have thousands or tens of thousands of copies printed and on bookshelves in game stores everywhere. It's going to be print on demand, maybe at drive-thru or Amazon, and the only way you can get people to see it is by putting your word out. But you know what? It's yours. See, when you work, the only time that you are going to truly be valued for who you are, not what you can do, but for who you are, is when you're working for yourself. Okay? Yes, smaller companies are probably more personable. Smaller companies probably give more of a shit about you. But the larger the company, the more you become a cog. You're a widget. You aren't a person. You are part of the production. You're one of many pieces, and you're interchangeable to a large extent. There are so many fucking freelancers out there. Listen, I think artists, personally, are some of the most undervalued, underpaid creators out there. Because, you know what? If I put my head to it, I can write. But I will never be able to do art. And art that speaks is fucking amazing to me. And I feel like they're underpaid for the work they do. And I know there are writers out there that are going to go, well, but we're underpaid for the work that we do. And you know what? The market decides. The market decides. The only way you will be valued for the work that you do at a valuation that is good for you is if you're working for yourself. Really. You know, and it's not and working for yourself, maybe the way that you can actually make book and actually make money and possibly work full-time is to be a staff at some company. That's great. But even staff, you're not guaranteed you're going to be there forever. Remember, Wizards of the Coast used to do those end of the year Christmas holiday purges for many years in a row. Downsize, get rid of people. Because again, they're cogs. You are a cog. And I'm not saying this to upset anybody, but to realize that if you want to be important, if you want to have control over your work, if you want to produce what you want to produce, you likely have to produce it for yourself. You likely have to self-publish. And the bar to self-publishing has gotten so low. It isn't like when I was in college and you had the guy walk into your gaming club, and he's like, I've got my world I want to talk to you about with my flying elves and 18 sheets of paper taped together for my world map. No, now you put it up and publish it, and maybe nobody reads it, nobody cares about it. Maybe your work isn't as good as you think it is. Well, you know what? That's one way to find out, but the other way is to be a freelancer and get turned down and get turned down and get turned down, or get accepted and then have your work turned into something that you feel it wasn't even what you submitted because what you submitted wasn't good enough. It wasn't in the format. It wasn't what they wanted. And again, as a freelancer, you really, I hate to say this, but your one concern should be, am I getting paid for the work that I'm doing? Right? Am I getting compensated? If they take what you wrote and turn it something that doesn't look like what you wrote, but you got compensated, so be it. That's the world you are in. Okay? That's why when I was working as a sergeant, and I had a nice position until 9 months before I retired. And then I was told, oh, you're going to man the intake desk on midnight, command center. I was like, huh? Because I was a cog. My time was short. They wanted to train somebody to learn my position while I was still there. So if needed, I could help them. In the meantime, I was filling another spot. Interchangeable. No more than a cog. Okay? A lot of times, the bigger the corporation, the bigger the company, the bigger the employer, the bigger the government agency or whatever you're working for, the more of a cog you are. But to some extent, if you're not working for yourself, you're a cog. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do. It's not meant to be insulting. It's meant to be a little bit of a wake-up call. I was a cog for 20 years. And you might not be a cog for the people that you immediately work for or work with. Your subordinates, your immediate supervisor. You might have, but to the larger employer, the larger job, you're still a cog. You're a piece that can be taken from here and placed there, and anybody can come in and replace you. And even if we're not talking freelancing, you're talking whatever position that you have anywhere. With my unit, we got a new boss over our division. First thing he said, day one, I want everybody in this unit to write up their position, what it is, what you do, and then I want instructions that a 5-year-old could understand how to do your job. So I want you to break it down to that kind of step-by-step process. Why? Because in the end, you're all cogs, right? Sometimes we like to value ourselves and say, nobody else could do my job. Anybody could do any job. And there's always somebody to replace anybody. All right. No, nobody is so important who can't be replaced. They might not do it as well as you did initially. They might not do it like you did, but everybody's replaceable. Nobody is irreplaceable, especially if a company looks at people like Cogs. I'm sure Wizards of the Coast has made themselves into a company that deals with freelancers specifically for a lot of that creative work. Why? Because freelancers, you don't got to pay them benefits, right? They don't get health benefits. They don't get sick days. They don't get vacation days. They don't get profit sharing, any of that stuff. And best of all, they're so much easier to swap out than staff. Staff is like a wired in cog, but if you're a freelancer, you're just in, out, in, out. We have all these cogs that are looking to do the work, and we only have this much work. So I can go through all these cogs and figure out which ones I want to try now. So, again, if you don't want to be a cog, create for yourself, self-publish. And I'm not saying it's for everybody. Sure isn't. But, the life of a freelancer is the life of a freelancer. And I guess Graham figured out that he doesn't like the life of a freelancer. And with his public display of being disappointed and disaffected, I'm fairly well sure he will not be freelancing for any other publisher. So there you go. All right, folks. Tonight, 8 p.m. Tonight being April 2nd. This isn't an April Fool's Day. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, myself, Glenn Hallstrom, Dungeons, Dragons, Discord over here at Tenkar's. At Tenkar's. Well, Tenkar's Tavern.com is the blog. However, YouTube.com/Eric Tenkar if you're listening on the podcast side. Folks, voicemails 347-509-5168, 347-509-5168. Again, please subscribe, like, comment. It helps the algorithm. We're hoping to grow. Thank you. All right, folks, be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice. We are still in the midst of the world of COVID, so use your common sense. All right? On that note, knock on wood, I will catch you all later tonight. Go figure that one out.